Well, we are live. Hello, Miss Viv Adcock.
Hello, lovely Susie Godsey. And where are you exactly? I know you're in New Mexico, but where?
I'm between Albuquerque and Santa Fe.
Santa Fe
Mm.
was the closest place I had in my mind. So,
Mm.
hello, between Albuquerque and Santa Fe. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're watching us live now or in the future. For those of you joining us maybe in the future, we have just gone through, the festive season, the silly season, the crazy season, whatever you, affectionately refer to it as. And, we're now on my calendar, it's now the 4th of January, 2025. So the future looks pretty good from here, Susie. Let me just shout ahead of you. We're in Australia. So, we're one of the first time zones in the world to welcome in New Year. And at this time of year, people get all significant and serious and forceful about setting New Year's resolutions. So, do you personally set New Year's resolutions, Susie?
Not anymore. And I have to say, thank goodness, because, it's one of those things that you just do because everyone does it, and then you make it so significant. And I have to say, like, I disappointed myself every year with those. And it always was stressful. So I stopped doing that. And thank goodness for the tools of Access Consciousness, because in general, I don't really do that so much anymore. Yes, sometimes I want to create something, and if I don't get it happening right away, I judge myself. But for the most part, at least I don't sit around and try to figure out how to be a better person on the 31st. So, you know, what about you, Viv?
No, but I do have, one of the greatest gifts of Access Consciousness is getting clear on
Wait,
your
what
asks.
happened? Your sound
Oh,
was gone. I don't
I'm
know if it
still
was gone for everyone. Now I
here.
can hear you again.
Okay. I must have been saying something totally profound. So I was saying, thanks to the tools of Access Consciousness, I look more at what my asks are. We've probably all heard the whole ask and you shall receive. So I look more at what I'm asking for of myself for the next 12 months. What do I desire to have on a personal level with me internally as a being? But also, what would I like to actually experience this year? Who would I like to engage with? What would I like to create? And so this is where, having a chat with a friend's horse or sitting on the earth and looking up at the trees and talking to the birds, or it kind of gets me out of that really heady, constructy, I must have, that whole, I'm going to lose 10 kilos, or that type of goal that a lot of people set themselves at this time of year. So when you ask for something, it's like, well, what would it take for me to have ... What would it take for me to be ... And the question actually opens up the space of possibility rather than this forceful, I'm going to have, because most of us, we don't like being told what to do. We don't like being controlled. It's like, well, if somebody comes across to you and says, you're going to, go to boot camp 3 mornings a week, you're going to be like, oh, I don't think so. So what different energy does an ask put into your world? Look at what you would like to have. And I would like to have whatever it is. It's a very different energy. You're requesting of the universe, but you're also kind of putting a demand in your world of, I'm going to do what I can. I'm going to hold up my end of the bargain and take action and institute things to me actually having this. And what would it be like for me to have this? So when you tap into that energy of what would it be like to have this, it's like, wow, okay, there's the energy, there's the space, there's the awareness of, okay, this is the energy that'll be created. If I take steps every day, if I institute something every day, it doesn't have to be this Herculean task. It can be a choice by choice, day by day, heading in the direction of what you desire to have and be. So, for me, one of my asks this year is, it's only a little tiny, itsy bitsy weeny ask. It is, what would it take for me to receive everything and judge nothing? just a little tiny itsy bitsy really ask. So I'm actually asking, because this live is about, can your animals help you with New Year's resolutions? Well, of course they can, because they receive everything and they judge nothing. They don't judge if they've got a tick on them, or they don't judge if they've got 3 legs, or they don't judge if they've just charged at another horse with their ears flat back and taken a big chunk out of their side. They receive everything. They receive all the information and energies around them, and they judge nothing. So that's, at the moment, a little window into my reality over the next 12 months. Ask me how I went this time next year, by all means. So that's my long introduction, Susie. What have you got going on?
Well, no, and I love that, Viv. And, really the only difference that I would say for me is that I don't wait till the 31st to do that. And I know you don't either, and yes, the new year can be an inspiration to kind of look at all these things, but I honestly look at them throughout the year over and over. And I, I think the biggest thing for me is that I often don't dare to ask for what I really would like to have in my life, and I think a lot of us are brought up that way, like, don't ask too big, don't get too wild or whatever, or how dare you ask for that, which I was told many times as a kid, like, how dare you ask for something like that, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to ask, So because also, a lot of people have the point of view, if we're asking for something, there's an expectation that we actually are going to have it. But a lot of times, to me nowadays, it's not so much that I expect it. It's more like you said, I just keep doing what I need to do to actually create that. And if it's not showing up, I know that that's because, like, I wasn't tenacious, and that's one thing that I think your animals can help you with too. They can be very tenacious when they want something. Like, have you ever had your dog wanting to go out, and you're like, another 5 minutes, another 5 minutes, another 5 minutes, and your dog keeps coming and looking at you, or starts whining, or starts scratching you, or goes to the door and scratches the door, or, whatever, but they just won't give up. So, yeah. So truly, like, what if you didn't give up either, on your asks, and really looked at, like, how animals can, the persistence of something without a point of view. And I think that's the part that Viv was making very strongly, is that non-judgment part, because our animals don't judge us. And also, if you don't fulfill your New Year's resolution, your animals won't judge you. They won't sit there and say, hey, I thought you said you were going to stop smoking, and look at you're smoking, whatever.
They're just like, come and
play. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's big. That's big. Yeah.
Yeah. And even that energy of come and play, your horse could be standing at you looking over the fence. Your kitten could be playing with its little mousy toy. Your dog could be looking at you with a ball in its mouth. The invitation to play as well, I think that's a great thing to aim for with people's lives. I think people, and life especially, is very heavy and serious and significant a lot of the time. So, what if that could be part of your animal helping you with a New Year's resolution? That it's like, what if I played more this year? What if I just relaxed and just bloody stopped and smelled the roses, and took cat naps and rolled in the hay and, taking.
You mean have joy in life?
Yeah, joy. Fancy that. So
fancy that.
And also, I mean, the practical side, if you are looking to get healthier or fitter, which is often one of the top 3 things people, that's it, I've eaten so much food over Christmas, I'm going to lose, and so take your dog for a walk. Go and walk around the paddock, and if you don't have an animal, there'll be some beautiful walk somewhere close to you that you can walk around and look at the birds, ask the creatures, maybe not the snakes, but you could ask the birds to come and sing to you, or what animals can I, meet and greet on my walk today? Where in nature is asking you to go and explore that may be right next door to you that you've never even considered before. So, what does nature, as well as the animal kingdom, desire to contribute to the level of joy and happiness that you're willing to have and be?
Right. And I think, the one thing that a lot of people get mad about is when Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, says, well, it's just a choice. It's just a choice that you can make, because people are like, no, I have this in the way and I have that problem and I have this, issue. But the funny thing is, regardless of what your issues are, you can always choose to have some happiness and some playtime. And, it's really up to you to choose it. So it's not that somebody has to give you permission to do it. It's not that you have to find a reason to do it. It's more like, what if you could just choose it without a reason? And like Viv was saying, that's where animals can also be such a contribution and such an invitation. Because how often do your animals make you laugh, and even if you're trying to be really dead serious about something and you're sitting there like, "Arr," and then all of a sudden your dog does something, your cat does something, and you're like, and you can't actually stop laughing or at least smiling about it, even if, everything else is so serious right now. But those little moments are also an indication that we could just choose something different. We don't have to hold on to whatever it is that we have decided is so terrible and awful. And I'm not trying to make anything in your life insignificant or say that, hey, if you feel like you had a really difficult life and you're like, who are you to tell me that I could just choose to be happy? I'm not trying to make you anything, but actually give you a possibility to look at it and go, maybe I could choose something, even if my life was really not that great. Like maybe I could still choose something. And what could that be? And really just a little step towards that direction of smiling, having some joy in your life. And that can change so much. I've seen a smile change a mood in an entire room. And what if that could be a reality?
Yeah, and I was also going to the other side of this. Often, especially dogs or cats, if we are going through a particularly difficult time, or we may have just lost somebody, or we've just had some bad news or whatever, how often does that soft paw come and jump on your lap, and the soft paw that touches your face, or a gentle dog snout, or how they lean into our emotional distress? I guess they perceive that energy, and it's like, so if you are going through a tough time, animals are a fantastic tonic in that respect in so many different ways. So I think there's a lot more to receiving of the animal kingdom than most pet owners know about, and that's Susie's and my desire to get this information out there, that your animals are contributing. They never stop contributing, so what can you receive from your animal today that maybe you haven't considered before? Thank you, Susie. Yet another interesting, amazing conversation. Susie and I chat just before we go live, and it's like, I wonder what's going to come out of our mouths today. I wonder what we're going to say. We never have a plan. We don't pre-choreograph this. This is just.
What do you mean we don't have a script?
No script.
No, and actually it was so funny when we picked this topic too. I think you said this topic and we were both like, oh, well, what are we going to say about that?
I was being spontaneous, and I was a dog with the lead in my mouth coming to Susie going, there's the lead. Let's go.
Let's go. Exactly. Yeah, but that's another one, where your animals can really just give you that sense of, you don't have to plan your day in order to actually have fun or to enjoy yourselves or whatever it might be. It doesn't have to be a strict plan that will make life better,
So, and again, it's just allowing the lightness and the irreverence and the presence, that animals be, the joy that they have, their embodiment. So what else is possible for you and 2025? What are you asking for? What could you ask for that's greater than you've ever been willing to ask? Thank you for that prompt, Susie. And what if your ask made you a little bit uncomfortable too, that, oh, okay, I've got to reach a bit. That's not something familiar, because in order to receive something, we have to be that energy. We need to be that. So, and this is often where it's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, if you want $1 million and you've lived on $100 for your whole life, it's going to be a bit of a different energy and a different experience for you to have $1 million. What would it be like? You know, I'm just using that as a random throwaway thing. I'm going to say goodbye because that's my gardener at the door. Thank you, Susie. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Viv. We'll see you
Bye.
next time. And thanks, everybody, for being here. And we'll see you next time.